In this session, we will focus on block storage, storage classes, and some backup options. Some of the objectives for the session will be to integrate Cinder with your existing storage solution. In this session, we'll be using NFS. We'll also use volume types to differentiate between different storage classes, using volume snapshots, and then reviewing some third-party backup solutions. So you could think of Cinder as your tool for managing volumes that your instances can use, just like physical hard drives. Cinder is flexible and can work with a wide range of backend storage solutions like LVM, NFS, Ceph, NetApp, Pure Storage, and more. Cinder also has the concept of volume types to classify different types of storage, which is the same concept as storage classes in VMware. And just like the other OpenStack components, you can interact with Cinder from the UI, but it could also be managed through the API or CLI. In today's lab exercise, we'll walk through authorizing a block storage node. So we will use the Platform 9 UI to add the block storage role to one of the existing hosts, as well as creating a volume type, a volume from an image, and then creating a VM from a bootable volume. So now let's go ahead and authorize a block storage node. To do this, we'll navigate to the Platform 9 UI, and in the infrastructure section, select the hypervisor that you want to add the block storage role to, and then click Configure Host. In the block storage section, we'll want to make sure that this checkbox is enabled, and then let's provide a volume backend name here. Select the driver type. In our case, it's going to be NFS. At this point, the UI will populate the appropriate configuration options that are required for NFS. So here I'm going to select the NFS mount point where the volumes will be stored in my NFS server. And once that's been populated, just click Update Block Storage Details. And then we'll see that the host will be in a discovering state for a couple minutes until it's fully configured. We can see here that the host is now in a connected state with a block storage role assigned to it. So now, let's go ahead and proceed with creating a volume type. Jumping back to the UI, and in the Volumes and Snapshots section, click on Volume Types. Here, we can provide our volume type with a name, and then we'll map this volume type with the NFS backend that I just created. In this section, you can also set metadata to the volume type. Depending on your underlying storage provider, setting specific metadata values can enable certain features. Now that we have the volume type in place, let's go ahead and create a volume from an image. Within the Platform 9 UI, navigate to Volumes and Snapshots, Volumes, New Volume. For the source, we want to select Image. So I'm going to select Ubuntu 2004, then we'll give this volume a name. I'm going to select the volume type that we just created, and I'll also give the volume a size. We want to ensure that we could use this as a bootable volume, so let's check this box here, and then click Next, and then click Create. Shortly, we'll see the volume go into an available status. Currently, Cinder is downloading the Ubuntu image from Glance. And now we can see that the volume is in an available state. Next, let's create a virtual machine from this bootable volume. We can do this by navigating to Instances, Create New Instance, and now, instead of booting an instance from an image, we want to boot an instance from an existing volume, which is the one that we just created. So we'll select that volume, select the flavor that we want to create this instance with, tenant network. Then we want to give this instance a name, SSH key so I can access it later, security group. And then let's go ahead and apply the example cloud config script. And now before you know it, we have a virtual machine created from this bootable volume. Now let's move on to backup options. In OpenStack, we have the concept of snapshots. We can perform snapshots at the volume level, or we can perform snapshots at the instance level. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. To take a snapshot of a volume, All you have to do is select the volume and then simply click on Snapshot. Give your snapshot a name. And then now we'll see that the volume snapshot is being created. Now, to restore from the snapshot, you simply just need to create a new volume, and from the volume source, select Snapshot, and then select the desired snapshot that you want to create the volume from. Instance snapshots can be performed in a similar fashion. So if we navigate to the Instances tab, select an instance, and under More, you'll see a snapshot option. We'll give that snapshot a name, and then create it. We'll see that the instance is in a We'll see that the snapshot is currently being created. And now this instance snapshot And now this instance snapshot will be in the form of an image that can be used to deploy a new instance. You can also leverage third-party platforms such as Twilio, Veeam, or Veritas for advanced backup or disaster recovery options. To recap what we did today, we deployed the block storage role on a host to enable Cinder with an NFS backend. From there, we were able to create a volume type and then created a bootable volume. With that, we were then able to create a virtual machine from that bootable volume. From there, we were able to create a virtual machine from that bootable volume. We then walked through the process of taking a volume and instance snapshot, as well as touched on some third-party backup options. Thank you for your time and looking forward to seeing you in the next session.